The Phoenix Urban Renewal Agency Advisory Committee meeting taking place today. Thank you, Rafa. Taking place November 20th, 2025. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Muehlhofer.
Here.
Member Guthrie. Member Herron is absent. Member Quitt.
Here.
Member Kay.
Here.
Member Gonzalez.
Here.
And Member Volpert.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I move to reorder the agenda in such a way where executive session is no longer at the start, but we'll start at the 4:30 mark. Second. Roll call?
Member Volpert.
Yes.
Member Quitt.
Yes.
Member Kay.
Yes.
Member Gonzalez.
Yes.
Member Guthrie.
Yes.
And Al Muehlhofer.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
So the plan will be that we have a discussion with the folks who've submitted proposals. A little bit of a Q&A, and we're going to have a hard stop at 4:30 on that to break out into executive session. Thank you, Mason. So we'll be starting that at 4:30 now. And we'll go back into open session around 5 o'clock. To kick things off, I first want to thank those of you, the three groups that have put together proposals. It's amazing to see this much interest in such a great piece of property in downtown Phoenix. I know that our committee has some questions, and we're looking forward to a good discussion with all of you. Would we be bringing them up individually?
I mean, I think it depends on the questions you have or the type of discussion you want to have. If there's discussions you want to have first in the open session and then call each one up, I think that it's really, there's no clear rules on how you want to proceed with that.
That's great. I also want to thank you all for your patience with our group, because this is a lot of information. We're trying to make an informed decision. And additionally, our committee is unable to necessarily communicate about some of these things in between meetings. So a lot of the time we're, regrouping and finding our footing in these meetings. So thank you for your patience. Does anyone have a preference for who we engage with first?
No.
I will say that you still need to approve consent agenda.
Oh.
The next item on the agenda.
Fantastic. Thank you. And moving on to our consent agenda, is there a motion to approve the minutes from November 6th?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, roll call.
Mayor Muehlhofer.
Yes.
Member Guthrie. Member Quitt.
Yes.
Member Kay.
Yes.
Member Gonzalez.
Yes.
And Member Volpert.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
And the same for minutes?
That was for the minutes. Yep.
Fantastic.
All good there.
If there's no preference for who we're going to have a discussion with first, I would look at our agenda packet. And the first one that we've got listed there is Brian Hall.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Members of the committee, thanks again for this opportunity to allow us to present our vision for this very popular piece of property in your downtown core. I don't have much to add other than what you see in our packet that was submitted. But I would like to say, address a couple of things in the letter of intent. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough going. Everything in the letter of intent that was submitted previously and last week, the 14th, is verifiable. Obviously, the parking spaces that we'll hopefully share with the city if we're so selected. 24 spaces, that's verifiable. Also, the wages that the doctor is paying his current staff those are actual numbers that they're receiving today. Nothing in the letter of intent is projections or estimates. They're all currently actual numbers. And the number of patients, I think it states 1,600 patients a month. That's what the doctor is experiencing today. So there's just upside to that, we believe. And then also in the renderings, you may not have noticed, but there has been a change to the renderings. After our pre-application meeting with Zach and Jeff, we were told that the code is for 60% transparency. So we've met that. So there's a lot more windows, even though we encourage, or the doctor encouraged us to add windows. 60% is a big number, but we're meeting that. So that's basically all I have to add, but I would be more than happy to answer any questions that the meeting may have.
I just have, maybe not necessarily a question, but just kind of my thought process, Brian. I appreciate you being here. I know you made a
Sure.
little bit of a drive. For me, when I look at your proposal, the investment's clear financially. I think you hit a lot of the check marks. I do continue to have a concern that we don't know who the buyer is or what the practice is. And along those same lines, I think Phoenix is so fortunate to have an urban renewal agency because it allows us to redevelop our town in a way that works for Phoenix and provides a benefit to our community. And what that means, obviously, is that we sometimes don't have to work the same way that a transaction might happen in the open market or the private market. And so I think, there's a fiscal responsibility that we have, but it's not the same as if it was the private market. I've previously advocated that urban renewal is a tool we can use to encourage our or enhance our small town atmosphere. And it's a tool we can use to promote the concepts of locals owning the property and the communities in which they live. And I also believe we have a responsibility to this community to elevate proposals that could be integrated or impactful to our neighbors' lives. One of the things that strikes me is that Phoenix is a great place to live and work. I believe that it's a town full of people who work hard. And there's a strong feeling of pride of ownership of the work or projects that they're involved in. And I don't want to generalize things or generalize our demographic, but it's a blue collar community. And because of that, I do have a concern that we would be inviting a practice that might draw visitors from far outside our town, but might not actually be a service that our locals utilize.
Can I address that?
Yes, please.
Well, the bulk of the patients to the practice are local. They're from Ashland, probably Phoenix. In fact, we know there are a lot of patients from Phoenix and also Medford. But they do draw, as I stated in the letter, as we talked previously, 3.5 hours away. So you're bringing people in that may have never been to Phoenix, that will be exposed to Phoenix. And if they're driving 3.5 hours away, they have an appointment with the doctor or his clinic, they're going to have to eat and they'll probably want to stretch their legs. And so they will be adding to the economic impact along with the local clientele. It's not all the patients don't come from out of the market. You have a catchment of probably 20,000-30,000 people just in the general Southern Oregon area. So it's servicing both the local market and people that live outside the market. And also to address your comment about, and I appreciate the committee's position on, in your position on wanting to know who the doctor is. The negotiations on the doctor's extraction from his current practice are moving along very rapidly. And we believe by the end of December, those transactions, that transaction will be concluded. So the first week of January, we're prepared to notify the committee of who the doctor is. And I'm biased, but if you don't like this doctor, there's serious doubts you'll like any doctor. So hopefully that answered your.
Yeah, thank you. In the interest of time, just because we are going to go into exec sesh in about 20 minutes or so, do we have any additional questions for Brian? And we will try to keep it somewhat brief so
Sure.
we can allocate time to others.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, so I think that every project that has been presented has a lot of value for Phoenix local area. Yours has, I feel like, the strongest financial, there's no real question about it. To me, your project is one of the ones though that I feel to move to another property and not have not negatively impact Phoenix or the business. One in particular piece of property is 510 Main Street. It's 500 feet away potentially. It's 0.71 acres and also includes a lot of SDC credits with that. So financially it saves some money with building. We get further into that, I want to be brief, but that to me is a piece of property where people are coming to my understanding this practice because of the doctor, not because of Phoenix. And
Yes, that's
moving that building block away essentially is not going to reduce people coming for the business and still create the same benefit to Phoenix and locals and then still provide this piece of property for the project. This property is currently on the market for $299,000 and the SEC credits on top of that. I think that potentially it's a win for you guys and a win for Phoenix and it leaves that open. I don't know if people did that piece of property in particular or not.
Yes, we're aware of. In fact, we're aware of all the properties that are available.
Okay.
We have a very extensive list of properties and their values and so forth. The reason why we are really pushing for this particular side of Bear Creek and 4th Street is that the doctor has spent time in Phoenix. He frequents the foodery. He likes that site. He wants his staff to be able to walk and not cross 99. The site that you mentioned is really right in, right out only. And I know we're a destination, so people can drive around and make that connection, but it's not as good a site. And that's, and some of the sites we were looking at, I can't speak for the doctor because we've been focused on this site, but there are sites in Talent, there are sites in Medford that we would consider if we're not successful in selecting this site. Being selected.
One final question.
Staffing that you're talking about are going to be higher at the new business versus coming to the doctor.
Well, more than likely, and I can't say this for certain, but their existing support staff and they pretty much will follow the doctor wherever he goes. So there may be some that decide not to come over to the new practice, but so he'd be hiring more. But right now, it looks like everybody wants to follow the doctor. He pays them very well.
And Paul Kay?
I actually have two questions. I'm a pathological analyst, so I look at the relationships of numbers and public. I see 1,600 clients a month, 4 days a week, 16 work days, 100 people a day, 8 hours, one doctor.
10 hours a day.
Okay.
It's 4-day work.
5 or 10 minutes per patient. Can you please disclose what type of medical practice this is?
If I disclose the type of medical practice, then you could put 2 and 2 together and know who the doctor is and the word would get out. And then it could upset his negotiations, which would cost him a significant amount of money. So I'm sorry, we can't disclose that. But those numbers are verifiable. That's without a doubt.
So my concern is not knowing the type of practice, and I know you described a non-consequence backdoor. I'm reluctant to make an agreement without knowing to put on resources and time and so forth. The other question I have, and the planning director Moody could probably answer it, 24 parking spaces is actually more than the maximum allowed. The maximum allowed is 13.
That's correct.
5%, 14 to get variance or public parking. How do you address that?
I do have the answer to that when we talk about details.
Okay.
Yep.
Mayor,
Yeah, I guess the question I have, if you couldn't get this site, is there any other site in Phoenix that you would be open to as opposed to going to Talent elsewhere? Because we do have a lot of open property that's available in the immediate area.
We would look at other sites, but it would open up not only Phoenix, it would open up Talent and Medford, Ashland, whatever. But he would definitely he lives down in Southern Oregon. So commute is a little bit of a factor, but not that major of a factor. We're aware of almost every site that's available that's on market. We've identified sites that we could try to assemble, but if we're not successful on this site, then that would open up quite a few other properties that we would have to take a look at, and we'd have to move quickly because he wants to, as I said many times, he wants to move very, very quickly. And what we've done to date, as far as planning, yes, it's site specific, but I mean, we're ready to go if we were selected, subject to your point, Mr. K. We will, if we are selected, you would know during the DDA negotiations. And if you're not happy with the practice or the doctor, you can say so, no obligation to the city. We would walk away, not gladly, but we would walk away with no repercussions to the city whatsoever. That's how confident we are on who the doctor is, his clientele, and the economic impact that will have on the city of Phoenix.
Jonathan?
This medical service that occurs with the other doctors now, and this doctor's leaving, would that service continue at the original location, and this would be another location where this occurs?
No, it'd be a total relocation. This would be the only practice.
This would be
for the
exclusive for this service. This
That's
location.
right. That's why he's leaving his current practice and going to be building his own practice. And it'd be, 100% owned by the doctor and with no design to have other practices.
So your confidence that there's non-competes or things that would continue to allow this location to have that
The
exclusive service?
non-compete, that's what they're negotiating now, but the non-compete would expire before the building is completed. So if we could start construction first quarter.
You see where I'm going with this though? Like if right now, if the pitch is this service is so exclusive, it's going to draw all these people, and then yet this service continues in Medford and perhaps is opened elsewhere, then that is going to reduce the amount of people coming to this location for the service.
Well, the demand is such that the doctor would like other doctors to come into the area because it would take pressure off of them. They've got 4 or 5 month waiting list. That's why people are driving so, from great distances for the service. So he has no, in fact, it would be helpful if there were more
Competition.
surgeons, of his caliber and type.
Thank you, Brian. We're going to give you another opportunity after executive session to further discuss this, but we're going to move on to Christina Fever. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
We're gonna need a couple of chairs again. I'm sharing.
Anyone else out there that?
Yeah, we can leave this chair.
Okay, moving quickly. Do you need the mic? Hello, everyone. My name, just wanting to start off with thank you for the opportunity again to speak, to review our request. My name is Christina, and I'm glad to be here again. The volunteer executive director of Pollinator Project Rogue Valley, a 501c3 based in Phoenix. And I just want to say thank you so much to all the people in the room, all the people on Zoom, and all the people who have been so incredibly supportive since we've started this project over the last 3 weeks. We're going to give you a sign-up sheet so you know who is in the room. We didn't do that last time, and I just think you need to know who is here. We have some real important people that are taking time out of their day. So we are here tonight to respectfully request that the city of Phoenix donate the land at the corner of Bear Creek Drive and 4th Street to Pollinator Project Valley. I didn't have my presentation up, but you have a piece of paper, I do believe, that shows you the updated version of our concept. It applies a little bit better to some of the code. This is for an eco education center and butterfly house. And I just want to go over the top 3 reasons why this is the best and highest use for this property. And it's on the reverse of your piece of paper if you want to read along with me. This project will bring thousands of out-of-town tourists, local visitors, schools, and families to Phoenix, and they will spend money while they are here. This project will beautify the location and create a strong and beautiful connection between the city and the bike path. And this is from Ashland to Grants Pass, and all the businesses along it. This project has an amazing community supporting it. Thousands of community members, plus nonprofits, schools and businesses, and interested funders, but only if PPRV has title to the land. I'm pleased to have Brad Russell from the Rogue Valley YMCA.
Hi, thanks. I just wanted to share not only am I the director of the YMCA, but I'm very active with the Nonprofit Association of Oregon, a current volunteer and past board chair. And our executive director, Jim White, will be here a little bit later. So if you're wanting to talk with him about anything nonprofit, he drove here from Portland. And I just want to say there are some very real examples of this thing happening where municipalities and nonprofits work together to make good things happen. For example, in Medford around housing, in Port Orford for conservation, Corvallis for a trail system, and in Eagle Point for an outdoor education. So we could take a tour together if you'd like, and just keep in mind that during COVID and the wildfires, the city of Phoenix worked with nonprofits and all of the community sectors. So let's do it again with this project. Thank you.
Robert, I think you wanted to make a few comments.
Say, he came down, he's coming down.
He will be here in probably 30 minutes. So after your executive session, if you like to chat anything nonprofit, they'll be here for you.
This is a statewide.
Yep. So the nonprofit, the Nonprofit Association of Oregon, it's our statewide association that supports nonprofits. There's about 24,000 in Oregon, 12 very active like us, and 12,000 that are more on paper.
Will you guys entertain questions from the committee?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, go for it, Robert. Sorry.
It won't take long. I understand you're trying to get your executive company quick, but I just wanted to add one other touch to this to Planner Rudy and all of you and Mayor Al. I've asked myself, and I know you have too, how do you determine value to a community, especially in urban renewal or a blighted area? And I came up with 4, very brief on this, 4 ways. And they kind of fluctuate a bit. One is the land itself. That's pretty easy to look at a piece of land, where it's located, what's on it, and say, okay, dollars and cents, we can evaluate value. Another way is the infrastructure on the land. What's on it? What's nearby? What kind of utilities are there? Are we close to a particular road? Is it part of a community or whatever? The third way is, okay, what about the services that are going to be provided on that property? And you've heard about very different services for this property. There's a fourth way, a bigger way. A way that's a little bit harder to really determine with basic nuts and bolts dollars. But it's by far the biggest way to me and to, I guess, hundreds of people that are supporting this to add value to the community. It's the sense of being, of belonging, of having a place you want to go. Why? Maybe because of all those different ways of determining value. But it's something that's actually what a lot of folks here in Phoenix call the vibe. We have that here. And the Education Center and Butterfly Pavilion, proposed by Pollinator Project Rogue Valley, and supported by, I would say, hundreds of people in the community already, is one of those that create that much stronger value that really overshadows all the rest than where I think Phoenix would really like to be.
Thousands of people.
Back to you.
Thousands of people. It's thousands. I can verify that. And here are some letters. These are the most recent ones that have come in. These are letters from potential funders. I have a stack of over 100 letters here that were sent in via email that you've already looked at. So yes, we're ready to entertain questions. Thank you.
Excellent. I think we've got a lot of questions. Paul?
2 questions. What days would you open staff?
How many days a week would you be open, operating, staffed?
Well, obviously, we're not here yet, but we would be open at least 5 days a week, probably one of the weekends, maybe both weekend days. We're open right now, Tuesday through Saturday, but we're often there on Mondays and we're often there on Sundays. We have events on Sundays, so we could technically be 7 days a week.
Thank you. Another question, lease versus ownership. You said it only works with ownership. Explain why.
Funders. I've talked to them about this before. If we are leasing land, why would a funder give us $500,000 when it's somebody else's property? And I think Brad can answer, or Jim could answer that even better. And this is in the letters, if you've read them from the funders, that is exactly what they say. So it's where the money's coming from.
Do they get those letters from the fund?
Yes, sir. It's in the package.
I have a quick follow-up to Paul's first question, if that's okay, Paul, unless you have a follow-up yourself.
I will leave it at a question.
On page 137, it says phase 2, which is I think a 5-year period, maybe. It says open for weekend visitors.
Phase 2, that's because we would then have the butterfly house open. So that means we'll be open. So yeah, we would be open as many days as we can be open with staff. We have to have enough staff or volunteers. But yeah, we would be willing to be open as much as the community can.
So I'm misreading that then, because
pardon?
when I read it, I read only open on weekends.
Okay.
But you're saying that's not the case.
We will be open as the community requires, and we have the people there to support. So I want to be open as much as we can. We're open
5 to 7 days.
Yeah, 5 to 7 days.
Operating hours in that 5 to 7 days.
Well, right now we're open 10 to 5. I can imagine though that we'll have plenty of evening events. There are events happening here in Phoenix. We're here for the second Friday. I mean, I didn't realize we would get into such details now. We are open now. We have events starting at 10 a.m. And earlier. We'll go later. I mean, we'll do what is needed by the community. Working with the Heart of the Wild would be amazing, and other events.
Mayor?
Yes.
One other thing just for you to consider, because they've already demonstrated, or we have. Aside from that, there will always be, because that's the kind of a facility that it is, extra events.
Mhm.
That are, part of setting the stage and having community events. Set for these things.
And we'll have butterflies to raise, so somebody has to be there, and we're gonna need volunteers and high school students, so we'll need to be open. It's not gonna be a, 5-hour operation.
So Christina, you want another $1 deal like we did with the PHURAC? I mean, you've mentioned that, right?
I'll take,
And
I'll
then-
it for $1.
And then, okay, let's say we did that. I think the question in my mind, and maybe others, is what are the expectations? What's really gonna happen in 6 months, a year, 18 months,
Yes, sir.
2 years? And we're not sure, because you've told me 750,000 to create
Estimate.
an estimate to create this facility. And we know that the butterfly house, I think we talked $10,000 or something like that. So the cost would be developing the land and this education center, right? That's where most of the funds would be required.
The biggest cost, of course, would be the building, but that would be to us, my idea would be a later phase. We're not gonna
Okay.
start building the building right away. So there are costs involved, but grant money is available. I've talked with OWEB, the Oregon Water Enhancement Board, and could be eligible for $20,000 to restore the land, meaning taking off the invasives and then starting to bring in natives. We happen to raise native plants, so we have a lot of volunteers. I have a feeling people would love to be working on this. Rachel Garner, I think you have a letter from her, the executive director of Armadillo Community Charter School. Man, talk about a project for high school students to start working on. So we have the ability to get community involved. So yeah, there would be costs involved, but I think the first basic ones would be to get started on clearing up the land and building the butterfly house so that we can start getting some income.
So the only thing you really want is that dollar deal. And then you're saying, I've got it, trust me, and then you'll do the rest. In essence, right?
I think we're not asking for a lot from the city. I mean, for you to give the property to us, I don't know what the value is. We've asked for that. So let's say it's a $250,000, which was the last sale price on it. That would be a huge gift. And that is what we would then use to take to funders to say, we have this, can you match part of this? Employment is a huge thing. Providing activities for young people and older people is something that I think this town and most of Southern Oregon is lacking. This is a draw. We have examples of other butterfly houses around the state, around the country. And this is something that is very desirable. I think Brad would probably add to that if you have anything there.
Paul,
I need to disclose that I manage a business, Phoenix Industrial Studios, that is a sponsor, a financial sponsor of Pollinator Project. I have no conflict of interest. I do not stand to gain or lose money because of this action or my participation.
I would agree.
ditto.
I have two questions. I'll try to make this very quick.
Jonathan,
I looked at the Elton property that you've mentioned could be used as a model. I also learned, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't fully understand the life cycle and the breeding of all the butterflies species, but it is my understanding that there are months throughout the year where you just won't have any butterflies there. So how have you planned to address your draw when there could be 2 or 3 months throughout the year or more where there are no butterflies and you got disappointed?
It's a very good question, and I thought about that. Native butterflies, because we're not going to have blue morphos flying around, which is a lot of butterfly houses do. But the education, I think, is key. If you're not even sure about the life cycle, which I would bet that most people are not, because it's not something that's taught and most people don't even think about it. But we have the education, we have the native plants. Right now, we have volunteers, we have classes about raising plants, propagating plants, dividing plants, seed collecting, planting seeds. We're going to have soon a much larger nursery space. We're going to need volunteers. We're going to need to be planting. We're going to need to be tending. So we do have a draw of having classes. When we do move to the educational space, then we have a for sale nursery as part of a phase where we will be having making income through that.
Okay. My other question was the property in Elkton also happens to be located adjacent to a large park. And so my question is, has PPRB either in the recent future or recent past or some period of its existence talked to anyone at the Phoenix Parks Department about Blue Heron Park and about opportunities of partnership there with a pollinator project?
We made a presentation to the city of Phoenix several years ago to ask for that piece of property there. It's right now in discussion with Mr. Beard.
So we're talking the old RV park. No, I'm referring to existing property of the Blue Heron Park.
No, we have not. We are working on, thanks to Sandy Wine, who happens to be in the room, we're working on the Children's Learning Garden that I think I mentioned to you last time we spoke.
Right.
And so we are working there. And so that will be a small educational space connected into the children's, into the community garden. One thing about the Blue Heron Park, area where you're probably thinking it is in a floodplain. And so there would be other, you know,
Issues for construction.
yeah, we'd have to think about that.
Okay, where my mind was going was this, is if you could pick this concept up and
Mhm.
put it somewhere in Blue Heron Park.
Yeah.
Then you've got the rest of the surrounding park area. You've got the community garden.
And where do you park?
You've got the greenway.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
But I think we can have this conversation in our next open session, but we need to move on to Daniel,
Yeah.
who's online. So we've got more questions for you. We're going to address them in our
Okay, so we-
open session. Yes, please.
Okay,
Thank you.
After your executive.
Yes,
thanks so much.
thank you.
Daniel, I've given you permission to speak.
All right. Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me okay?
It's better now. I think you just got closer to your mic. We can hear you
Okay.
better now, I think.
Okay, I'll just testing. Is that okay?
I think so. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. Well, hello again, everyone. Mayor Muehlhofer and Chairman PHURAC. If I'm gonna go and kind of just it's my understanding we're here to follow up to our conceptual site plan and answer questions about that and the letter of intent that we sent over. And so I'm here today to just essentially reassure that every part of this is our site plan is within the conventions and safety requirements of Oregon Building Code as far as water systems for cold plunge, gray water, rinsing stations, all engineered to Oregon Plumbing Code and Health Authority, sauna and electrical heating systems, all to they're all listed heaters and everything built to NEC, NFPA electrical requirements, Oregon Electrical Specialty Code. The decking and walkways and awnings, all built to residential commercial specialty code, live load, dead load, frost depth, foundation, anchoring, we'll provide full structural engineering, proper anchorage to the earth, ADA access where it's required. So even though it feels, it's an outdoor courtyard, it's engineered with the same rigor as a commercial deck or public boardwalk. And so same goes for restrooms and accessibility. Restrooms will meet ADA requirements and turning radius, clearances, fixtures, requirements, grab bar placement, accessibility, route, connectivity. We're very familiar with all of this and follow all IPC fixture counts and occupancy rates that satisfy OSHA and ADA. And then our modular sauna buildings are all within they're prefabricated, but they're not temporary. Everything's engineered structures that meet safety, structural safety requirements, energy and electrical compliance, mechanical requirements, fire safety provisions, and they're permitted like any other small commercial outdoor building, anchored correctly, stamp drawings. So again, like site anchoring, foundations, drainage, all improvements, sauna check-in, canopy decking are properly anchored, supported on engineered footings, designed for lateral load and wind load, integrated into site-wide drainage plan that's to be reviewed by the city. So none of this is temporary or improvised. It's all fully engineered. And so we're proposing that the next steps are to engage with the city of Phoenix for a formal site plan pre-application meeting and retain our geo consultant and land use consultant to ensure full zoning and site development compliance, and then begin our civil engineering and utility coordination and move into schematic design and permit ready drawings from there. And so my goal today is simple, which is to show that this concept it's exciting and it's inviting, and it's also completely feasible under conventional building and public health code.
Daniel, will you entertain some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Daniel, this is Jonathan. Is this development going to be financed or self-funded?
Self-funded.
Completely, everything. Land purchase, development at all?
Yeah. The structure is PropCo OpCo structure. So the operating company for all daily operations and property company for the piece of land itself.
And my other question, I'm looking at your site drawing. Forgive me, I was hoping to see something maybe a little bit more complete, but if I'm interpreting this correctly, the north portion of the property, is that Is that just still undeveloped? It looks like there's a fair amount here, just north of the box labeled changing. That's just landscaping. Is that true?
Yeah, and so that for that area there, our intention is I guess we're to what degree going along with the goals of FURA and the city of Phoenix of making it invitable space. We're also wanting, yeah, it is, but I would also just note that it's conceptual. There's plenty of ways to fill the space and increase the footprint. Some of that is intentional. And then I'll also just want to make note that for the depth of this drawing was we came together within the time that it was allotted in this just a conceptual drawing to kind of just show a proposed layout. And just given the history of we went through this process with FURA a year ago, and at the time I was reaching out through across the last year. I made all of the contacts to the city on my own independently, and there was and then it was kind of like all of a sudden, can you come in 1 week and make this presentation, which we're all available for, and we had a good foundation for this, but at some point we had to pull back for how much resources we could dedicate to this. And then we were preparing for an event and moving into a new warehouse space, and we're given 7 days to present. So we're doing our best with it. I just want to make
No, we're good. I think that's understood. Yeah, it's understood. Thanks. My last question is with respect to your expected foot traffic. You'd mentioned, I think calculations looked like around 57 patrons a day. How many hours would you expect your business to be operating?
It's from 10 to 12 hours.
10 to 12 hours. So that's figure around 8. You said 1.5 hour sessions?
They're 2 hour sessions. 2 hour sessions.
Sessions. Okay. So
7 to 7, ending at 9 p.m.
So, okay. So that's even fewer sessions than I thought. So, I mean, are you expecting these 2 saunas to be pretty much maxed out every hour of the day?
No, we're at 50% utilization. So there must be there's a miss in the numbers. That's at 50% utilization.
How many people do these saunas hold?
There's 20 seats. The way that you can program a sauna, there's an ability to increase. There's a couple different ways you can go buy per session and sell seats for 2 hours, or you can have it open all the time and have software that is tracking how many people are, reaching capacity. And at 20 seats, you could really move more like 25 or 30 people through the space. And it is on the table for us to program it that way. It's very straightforward. And I think for us to operate for the first 6 months to a year, we would probably stick with per session, and just to be able to gather as much data as possible and see how how it really does here in the Rogue Valley. As far as the program in itself, not utilization, but just if guests enjoy picking a time to show up to sauna, or if they enjoy being able to just kind of jump in at any point in the day and have access for 2 hours if they came at like 2:15 and want to leave at 4:15, and rather than having to pick being there at 3 o'clock and leaving at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, I need to disclose ex parte communication. I called Mr. Kavanagh actually to apologize for nodding off during his presentation. I have Parkinson's. I take medicine. One makes me sleepy. I attended his conversation, and then his presentation, and then during the telephone, we kind of geeked out on water technology. And he actually impresses me with his organization that he rattled off.
Daniel, I've got one question for you. This is Will Volpert, and then we're going to move into executive session, I believe.
All right, sounds good, Will.
Number 7 in I think it's your letter of intent, under conditions, item 3, it says city support for the development program. And I'm curious what that means.
It's generic, but that as we're going through this, that we would just like support along the way while we are producing our surveys, and with an understanding that we want to be certain that the site is appropriate for this layout. And where that comes from is just my understanding of the buildings where the just south of the Foodery, where those two new buildings are, the one that's closer to Bear Creek, that there was some foundational, like the so like the it was slowed down because of the soil conditions, and we just want to make sure that we can confirm everything about the site that we need to. And it's in reference to the pace at which we're moving to begin developing. So just that that the city is in support of our ability to test the site first before we would break ground.
Great, thank you. Anything else? No. Okay, the Phoenix Urban Renewal Advisory Committee of the City of Phoenix will now meet in executive session pursuant to ORS 192.6602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session. As previously noticed, no decisions will be made in executive session.
Okay, I'm going to close the public back in.
You don't have to wait for everyone to come back in the room.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that motion, Rafa.
Right, I make a motion to recommend PHURAC to purchase subject property number 1 at the price spoke about in executive session.
Second.
Hold on. I think she needs to be here for that. Hold on. Rosa.
Timing's brutal. It's too much. It's crazy.
Okay,
Okay.
is there a motion on the table?
Yes, go ahead, repeat it again for Rosa, please.
I make a motion to recommend PHURAC to purchase subject property number 1 at the price spoke about in executive session.
I second.
Great. Member Gonzalez,
Yes.
Mayor Muehlhofer,
Yes.
Member Guthrie,
Yes.
Member Quitt,
Yes.
Member Kay,
Yes.
and Member Volpert.
Yes,
Okay, motion passes.
thank you. Okay, welcome back, everyone. I apologize for keeping you waiting out there. There's a lot to go through here, and it's a big decision that we're discussing. We obviously do not have time for additional questions or discussion. We've got another meeting that's going to be moving in here at 6 p.m. But I do want to let you know that we have not come to a firm decision about how to move forward. But we have narrowed it down to 2 applicants, and those applicants are PPRV and Brian Hall. And so Daniel, I appreciate you submitting your application, but we're going to continue negotiation with the other 2 applicants.
I would just say a couple, holdups in places where we're obviously struggle with is not knowing with the medical facility, and then also the lease aspect compared to just a purchase or ownership for PP. Sorry, blanking out here, but that's some really big holdups for us, is not having that information, and it would be very helpful if there was more information of possibility with leases as well. That makes a big difference with the pollinator project, and obviously with the medical facility, knowing exactly what's going in there. We're all struggling here. We recognize the value from both groups. Thank you all for your patience.
Did you say, for a lease?
Yes, information on, more feedback from lease. I know you said that you would need to own the property from the donors, but more information and possibilities of lease would be greatly appreciated.
Is it possible for one person are you able to? Came from Portland. About leasing versus owning properties of a nonprofit.
Absolutely.
We do have a hard stop in 0 seconds, basically. Do we have comments from our executive?
I was just gonna say, we'll work with one of you to coordinate with what it is that you need from each individual group. And as well as when that next date of the meeting would be. Next meeting would be for you guys to deliberate more once you have more information.
Yeah, so this time it'd be as important to plan the next PHURAC meeting, schedule the next PHURAC meeting. And that way everyone can also make sure that
Very
they know
good.
that that's coming up.
Next FURAC meeting. December 4th?
December 4th.
We can do that. And that would be following the FURA meeting on Monday. So
Okay.
that's great.
I will not be available.
Is there anyone else who's at conflict?
We have, is there anything else going on afterwards if we run long?
Nope.
So we're gonna schedule our next meeting for December 4th at 4 p.m. Any other comments?
No, I just want to say as mayor, it was really challenging. We had a very, very strong discussion here, a lot of viewpoints. We're sensitive to both of the applicants. And we felt we just didn't have enough information, so we need to go back and gather more information. We realize this is a really critical decision for our community. That's very clear to me. Thank you.
And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.